Hello everyone, it's me, James David. Now, in this episode, I thought I would talk more about the characters that the readers will see in Tales of Stattendor and what to expect from them in the near future. So sit back and relax as we explore the world of Stattendor. So, in my last video I mentioned about creating the world of Stattendor, which was a task in itself, but then when it came time to fill the world of Stattendor with memorable characters, I started to think, what sort of characters would I want my readers to see and to find, and who should appear along the way? Imagining the series as an ongoing road trip where one group of characters would go on to continuously travel throughout the world, I realised that as fun as that would be, I think that after a while I would find myself only focusing on this one group and wanting to expand beyond them. After that, establishing them as a whole group would be not impossible but difficult, because they'd become so integrated into that original group, it would be hard to break them up. So in that regard, I thought, okay, I would have one group of characters for one major storyline, and then towards the end of the storyline, or after the storyline had finished, I would then shift the focus of the series to another group of characters somewhere else. Now, of course, this would be an event which wouldn't happen every 2 or 3 comics. It would probably happen every storyline, so maybe every 10 or 15 comics we would shift to a new group of characters somewhere else in the world, where we can see what the long-term effects are of the previous group's choices. My intention for this is to sort of be able to keep the narrative of the comic book series fresh and also interesting, while engaging with new characters and showing them off to the readers and allowing them to sort of see how different and vibrant the world of Stattendor is. Now, of course, just because we've shifted focus from one group to another, that doesn't mean we're never going to see those previous characters again, but we might not see them for a few storylines or story arcs, depending on what I'll call them once the series properly takes off. Now, when it comes to the tie-in novels of Tales of Stattendor Legends, I originally thought each novel would serve as an origin story for one or two of these characters which may appear later on in the comic book series. So for the first novel, that was Orange Leaf, which focused on the adventuring knight Sir Fablin Orangeleaf, who faces a moral dilemma while trying to do something good. Later on in the comics, he may or may not appear. I don't want to spoil it as to when and where he will, but when he does, it will be reflective of his character, and he may or may not mention the events which transpire during the novel Orange Leaf. Another reason I wanted to do the tie-in Legends novels is so that I could explore the history and the world of Stattendor outside of the comic books, and also help me expand on it and flesh it out a bit more before it's reached in the comics. But then again, this is an ongoing process, so that may or may not change. Although, let me know what you all think in the comments below, because I'm very curious to see what you guys think of a shared universe. I mean, yes, I'm probably not the first writer to implement a shared universe within their collective work, but the way in which I wanted to do it was more so, it's not shared worlds, but the same world, just with different characters in different places, getting up to all sorts of nonsense. I've recently started working on a series of short stories called The Muckrakers, which is about 3 adolescent young boys before they grow up to become adventurers, and it's probably one of the few series I'm working on which takes place before the events of the main series. So 2 years before the events of the main comic books, it talks about their lives and their misadventures and all the chaos they cause in their native county of Peachwood, which I will be putting into a book to publish on Amazon soon. So let me guys know what you think about that. I mean, it may not be out for another year or so, but hopefully it'll be out soon, or sooner or later, I guess. I haven't put a proper timeline on it because as I mentioned, I write as a stream of consciousness, so I get it all out, edit it, change it, and then publish it. So whether or not it'll be this year or next, we'll have to wait and see. Now, of course, one big thing I would love to do for all the characters is the comics to sort of appear at once would be in a sort of massive, big crossover event, whether it be a huge battle or big social gathering, like a grand banquet. I almost forgot what the word for it was then, or a tournament, or a grand melee, or a Colosseum fight. I mean, obviously it would depend on the situation, but that's my first big idea. And I thought, if Tales of Stattendor does get to issue 100, I would then set out to write the first big crossover event for the comic book series. Whether or not it would be the big tournament event or something else entirely, I had thought about doing a huge conflict which would redefine the successor kingdoms, the borders and the boundaries of it. But then again, that's probably a future event for later on. I am also considering doing graphic novels, but then again, I don't want to ruin the plotline for them. In fact, I actually gave voters on my Patreon page the privilege to vote for the next big storyline in the comics. I'm writing the first one, I've planned out the second one, but the third one after that, subscribers to my Patreon can decide which of the 4 proposed storylines I've suggested to then go on to be the next storyline of the comics. So if you've started reading Tales of Stattendor and want to become more involved in the creative process yourselves, you can subscribe to my Patreon and you can help vote and suggest ideas or ask questions about where the direction of a series is going, what you'd like to see, what you think you might like to see, or what you would expect. Or you can even just say, like, oh, this is cool stuff, because every subscription helps cover the cost of producing the comic book series. So I'm very grateful to all my subscribers, and I'm also grateful to be back on YouTube again talking about all of this. So I hope all of you have enjoyed this episode of the Tales of Stattendor podcast, and I look forward to seeing you all and hearing from you all in the next video. If you have any questions about what you'd like the next episode to be about, or you have any questions of the comics or the series or the characters, comment below and I will try and answer them in the next video. So until then, I hope you all have a very good day.